Yes and no. I mean, yes and no. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yes, no, maybe. Who knows? But
I'm just not giving a fuck. Really, just not giving a fuck. Just whatever happens, happens. You know, like just I'm here for a reason. Don't overthink it. You know, just play the game like you know how to play it.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marty Time TV and the Section 1904 podcast. I am Marty Caswell. That is the very, very busy Darren Smith. We are brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Darren, you have a big day ahead. I have a big day ahead. So let's go. Let's go. How are you today?
I just answer every question now when I agree to do one of these interviews, like one of the dozen or so interviews that I'm doing every week. I literally have just started answering questions with yes, no, maybe, who knows. Just taking a page from Manny Machado. I actually literally used those words when I was asked if I was surprised that the Padres had the record that they have, given some of the performances from some of the players. I was like, yes, no, maybe, who knows. I just was like, I'm just listening to Manny Machado so much now that I'm answering questions like him, just so I can kill the clock and get to the end of the conversation.
So you're saying that Manny Machado is now your inspiration?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
okay.
And I'm getting a glimpse of this as well. I don't say no to people when they ask me to do things, and so I've just found myself, and I do like the people that I've talked to. I'm not knocking anybody, just in case anybody's tuning in and like, oh, did he not want to come on the show or come on my podcast?
Is he talking about me?
Yeah, no, yes, no, maybe, who knows? I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not sure, but yeah, I do laugh at that just because I can sort of sense that, there is a method to Manny's madness as well. So Marty, it's good to be here. It is good to be here. Good. You mentioned it's a busy week. I am starting to turn my attention 100% to SDFC and Seattle Sounders. So I've still got a baseball show. We'll do a Friar Territory later on today. We're expecting to speak with Ty France.
Yes, you mean Padres catcher Ty France?
Padres MVP, Ty France.
The Padres employee of the week, Ty France. Yes, I can't wait for that conversation.
He's expected to join us. Was down in Tijuana earlier this week. Coming up at the back end of this show, you're going to see or hear, depending on how you consume Marty Time TV and the Section 1904 podcast, a conversation with Justin Turner. Yes, legendary Padre killer Justin Turner. Is playing in Tijuana. Went down the other night with my friend Nate Abarrea.
Dude, I can't do that.
And we had a great time. Justin Turner homered, by the way, on Wednesday night. Didn't homer on Tuesday when we were there, but homered on Wednesday night. So why is he playing with the Tijuana Toros? We get into that and talk a little bit about Padres and Dodgers all throughout the year. So stay tuned. That was I found him to be an enjoyable person. I kind of caught him at the end of another long interview. So he's like,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those, and I know there's a lot of interest. I know that I heard the LA Times is heading down this weekend, and there obviously is local interest on both sides of the border. So that's coming up. But he was very gracious, and we had a nice conversation off mic, and that's coming up here in a little bit. What else? Do you want to just back sell? Yesterday did a quick soccer podcast with Eric Gomez, so people can find that on Substack or Apple or on Spotify. So
there's a video.
It's a big day, Marty.
Video too. Yes, video for you too.
I learned how to do that. Like we're both sort of learning new tricks here. You can teach these old dogs some new tricks, can't you?
Yes, you can.
Yes, yeah, you can. I learned how to share a screen yesterday. I never knew how to do that before. So, but it's an important day in San Diego. I mean, it's It's the 10-year anniversary of one of the most important moments in Padre history.
Are you saying happy Bartolo Colon Day, Darren?
Is that what it's called around here?
Or maybe it's Fernando Tatis Day, right? Because now if we're looking at what happened in that moment where he gave up a home run to the legendary Bartolo Colon is what set off Ron Fowler, who came on the waves of the mighty 1090, right? Is that what we were called then? Or were we XX 1090? And he just went after James Shields. And I remember, as I do, I took like my little mini recorder and I went to James Shields. I'm like, hey, did you hear what your owner had to say about you? And he wasn't too happy about that. And he was pissed. Like he was pissed about it. This is a guy that always talked about accountability. He had that signed by his locker that if you don't like it, do better, right? And that was actually a message to his teammates. So yes, and then lo and behold, James Shields is traded for some skinny little shortstop. What happened to that guy?
It's a great question. I mean, we're still asking that question. What happened to
Yeah.
that guy as well? Can
Yeah.
we relive this moment in baseball? I mean, this is really not just a bit of Padre history.
Yeah.
It is actual like Major League Baseball legend.
Yeah.
What it was that happened 10 years ago on May 7th. Now this is just, I cannot believe this was 10 years ago, but May 7th of 2016, Padres are playing the Mets. Pitchers, boys and girls, used to hit in this league.
Yes, they did.
10 years ago. And this, to me, is the best argument for pitchers hitting. This is the only argument for pitchers hitting.
Just him? I missed it. I actually miss it now. I miss it a little bit.
I don't miss it, but every once in a while, like once maybe a season, you know, I just mentioned going down to Tijuana Toros.
Uh-huh.
You know who else is on that team?
Who? No.
What was that noise?
It's the
Danny
neighbors.
Camarena is on that team.
The guy that hit a grand. Speaking of
Yeah.
big home runs, a home run off of Max Scherzer.
Correct.
That one.
Yes, in the final year that pitchers were hitting in Major League Baseball, he hit a grand slam. The Padres were down 8-0 to the Washington Nationals with Scherzer on the mound. And this pitcher hit a grand slam to tie the game 8-8. Danny Camarena is playing with his high school teammate. He's a local
Incredible.
kid, right? And he went to Uni High.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing with, I mean, I could go on and on about the Tijuana Toros if you want. It was just a fun, eye-opening experience. But Daniel Camarena is playing with his high school teammate, Marty, a guy named Randy Wynn. Not that Randy Wynn, but a Randy Wynn who grew up in Allied Gardens.
That's where I
grew up in Allied Gardens and played high school ball at Uni. Spent some time, a cup of coffee in the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
And as he said, he goes, hey, for a kid that grew up in San Diego, my dream was to play for the Padres. Couldn't do it. So the next best thing for me is to be playing professionally in Tijuana so my family can come and they could watch me play professionally. I was like, wow, what an amazing angle that is. That was really cool. Anyhow,
okay.
But this to me is like, this is the whole reason. This is the only reason that it's not strategy or any of that shit. It's for moments like Bartolo Colon hitting a home run when nobody on planet Earth expected it to happen.
Okay, let me get this for you. Hang on 1 second. All right, go full screen. Sorry. Let's go. Come on, full screen. Oh, for Pete's sakes. It's not working, is it, Darren? All right. Play. Come on. It's not playing. Let's go.
Wow, what a tremendous buildup that was. An incredible moment. And then you can see all the Mets, they all get out of the dugout and they all go do the bit where they go right up the tunnel. And Bartolo Colon is there by himself because the next day or the day after that, Ron Fowler went on the radio and erupted on the Dan Sileo show with Little Sills. And he erupted. And somebody in the Padres organization, Marty, told me this. I don't remember exactly what the money was that the Padres sent to the White Sox for a pitcher and then this prospect that you talk about, Fernando Tatis Jr., who had yet to even play, I think, an organized professional baseball game. I don't even think he was in A-ball yet. I think he was still like in the rookie complex someplace or whatever. But somebody in the organization told me that Ron Fowler's outburst, because it gets picked up by national media where he's trashing James Shields, cost them $10 million. And Fowler's like, I don't care. I need to get this off my chest. James Shields. And there was so much tension with that because the owner erupted. And somebody told me that really did a number, literally, on their leverage, and that they probably had to include $10 more million than they would have had to include otherwise, just because everybody in baseball knew that the owner was out there just publicly crapping all over this pitcher. It's amazing.
It really is. Tatis, Eric Johnson, 26-year-old righty Eric Johnson. I wonder if James Shields was ever the same since then. Like, I know there were times, I'd reach out, like I actually want to talk to him afterwards about life after Padres. And I think he actually lived in San Diego for a while, right? He had some sort of company, like a deep freeze cryo company that he had. And I think I saw his home just listed actually last week for like $26 million.
Yep.
I don't, and James Shields, always polite, good person to talk to, did not want to talk about that trade or that moment. I think it really, really bothered him.
Yeah, I mean, listen
to the announcer. One of the great moments in baseball history all time.
I know. James Shields is probably, this is the day to stay off social media. If you're James Shields, if you're on it as well. Yeah. I mean, I never found the guy to be that like an objectionable character, right? I mean, people were excited when he signed here in free agency. I mean, you had local reporters who were expressing their emotions on social media about how excited they were because James Shields was signing with the San Diego Padres, and it was another step towards a commitment that we hadn't seen from ownership in previous years. And then it went completely pear-shaped until the Fernando Tatis Jr. Element became something worth investing in. So, and now here we are 10 years later. We're still like, who is Fernando Tatis Jr.? It's amazing. 10 years later, like we're still asking the same.
It's complete full circle. It's really remarkable. That was James Shields was the final piece of AJ Preller's, first real year as GM, where he was on the 1-year plan. His idea was to, you bring in the Will Myers, the Derek Norris, the Matt Kemps, who was it? Will Middlebrooks, right? He built his own, we're going to go ahead and win it now. And it didn't work. And Buddy Bot got fired. Darren, are you frozen right now? Can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
Okay. Why are you frozen for? Well, I'm not sure why you're frozen. All right. Before we go ahead and play,
I don't see myself as frozen.
Okay. Well, I see you as frozen. Before we get to your interview with, now you're good. With anything from yesterday stand out other than they won a series. They won a series, and Matt Waldron bought himself another start. Every time that Waldron goes or Buehler goes, we're saying, could this be it? Is this it? Because you know who's coming. Lucas Giolito's around the corner. The Padres are going to have some interesting decisions to make, Darren, when they do get Giolito back.
Yeah, and they won another series, and I think that's just
against a really bad team. Against a Giants are a disaster.
They are. And I don't think it's taking anything away from the Padres by saying that, because the Padres have already lost a series to the Giants.
Right.
So just sort of the way the sport works, all the good teams will lose the series at some point to a bad team. Mm-hmm. So just kind of the way it works. And I think the Padres, I like the way it looked. We talked on Fire Territory a little bit about Craig Stammen's willingness to shuffle the lineup and put different players in different positions.
To demote star players.
Yeah.
To the point that when Tatis was saying last year that I know when I'm right, I'm the best player in baseball, and now he's saying I'm just a baseball player. Whoa, there's a lot going.
Not great. I mean, some of the stuff with him, but the other news is that they scored 10 runs in that game where he shuffled the lineup.
Yes.
And then they followed that with a good pitching performance and 5 more. So now they head home against the St. Louis Cardinals team, which has been pretty good. It's just actually way better than I would have thought. I'm just sort of defaulting to the Cardinals kind of crap, right? But they're better. I mean, I don't watch a ton. I know they're really good on the road. So just something we could talk about for Friar Territory coming up. But no, I mean, not a ton. We'll talk to Ty France about it later, so be on the lookout for it. I do want to talk, though, and I don't know that we will or won't talk about this in Friar Territory. This is where we kind of like trip all over ourselves. Like, what's content for this? What's content for the other? There's an article that popped up yesterday in Sportico, and not a place I normally go, but it comes across the timeline still for those of us that scroll. Warriors Joe Lacob says his Padres bid assumed no MLB games in 2027. What? Golden State Warriors co-owner Joe Lacob said his unsuccessful bid to buy the Padres assumed that the entire 2027 MLB season would likely be lost due to labor strife. Let me just stop there for a second. When you hear that, does that surprise you? Does that strike you in any way? Because I've posted and some have said, well, like, haven't we been talking about work stoppage? I'm like, I've never heard anybody with any link to ownership talk about an entire season, though. Like, that's the first time I think anybody sort of said that part out loud. I know he's an outsider, but he was for a period of time part of the courtship of a Major League Baseball team.
Yep. We've heard that from like baseball writers, reporters, insiders, the Forbes types, the Wall Street journals, but I have not heard that yet from someone who is trying to invest in a baseball team. So I'm not sure if that's his way of saying the reason why I did not bid as high as Kwanza Jones. I'm putting her in the lead now. Kwanza Jones and Jose Feliciano is because, listen, I'm losing that first year. There's not money coming in. You're not getting the revenue from concessions and from TV because there's no game. So that's a little bit surprising. But it's something to think about as we enjoy or are tormented by this baseball season. I mean, again, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Full
You don't know.
season. Again,
Full
and maybe
season.
this is just risk management or risk
Yeah.
assessment. You have to prepare for there maybe won't be a season. I
Yeah.
just did not, I think work stoppage, everybody's like, yeah, okay. But eventually cooler heads, right?
You might
Then
think
again,
that
this is the same sport that canceled a World Series back in 1994. So
right.
who
You
knows?
might be thinking that, hey, maybe you're going to go ahead and miss. Maybe you're going to miss spring training, the first month of the season, and then when people get back.
Right.
But listen, every time I talk to Kyle, man, he's been not adamant. He's been pretty confident it's going to be like an extensive work stoppage. And I do wonder how much the sale of the Padres for that record amount is just going to add more fuel to the fire for whoever's in charge of the MLBPA.
Back to the story. Lacob's group was one of a handful of final bidders in the MLB auction, which was ultimately won by billionaire Jose E. Feliciano and his wife Kwanza Jones for a record $3.9 billion. The same sale came ahead of a potential MLB labor standoff. Current CBA expires at the end of the season, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Speaking at Sportico's Invesco West Conference in San Francisco Wednesday, Lacob was asked how the group modeled the potential risk of games being lost. Quote from Joe Lacob: "We assumed likely not a season next year, or at least that was a possibility." The story then says, given an owner's perspective, he added that he believed baseball would benefit from having more cost certainty in the form of both a salary cap and a salary floor. He said that would likely result in the same amount of money paid on players, but would spread the money out across more teams. So he seems to think, based on his own research, that he's investing in something that will be dramatically different with a floor and a cap. I'll believe it when I see it myself. Quote from Joe Lacob: "It's good for the league to have proper and appropriate competition. Can't just be the Warriors doing well in the NBA. It has to be all the other teams. Otherwise, you don't have a league." Joe Lacob said his interest in the Padres was both personal. Quote, "I happen to like baseball a lot." I happen to like baseball, but also financial. He said the economics of MLB looks similar to that of the NBA, where teams in both sports rely heavily on tickets, media, sponsorship, high-end hospitality, and merchandise. Quote, "That's what the businesses are. It's about local revenue generation. I believe that we could be really good at doing that with the baseball team." When asked about Jose Feliciano and Kwanza Jones winning, Joe Lacob said, quote, "Some people have said it's an overpay.
Wow.
It was a lot more than us, and I think we were second. But I think in the long run, it'll be a good investment because I do believe in baseball." Some people think it's an overpay, Marty. What do you think about that?
Sorry, I'm distracted by, what's happening upstairs.
I do. Banging. Lots of banging, man.
Is
Never
it an
changed,
overpay?
PP.
I mean, Darren, you had 4 teams in the running to pay that amount. I'm not sure how much did his bid fall short?
I don't know. I mean, even his
$400
words,
million?
the words that he uses there, as he says that
Was his bid an overpay?
It was a lot more than us. I'm guessing it had to have started with a 3. Otherwise, you're not in this conversation.
Right.
If you're finishing second, you're probably offering over $3 billion for the Padres.
You had 4 bidders that made it to the second round, right? Who got that rose for the fantasy suite or whatnot. So, and they came in like at 3.5. So, oh well.
Yeah, I mean, $400 million is probably a lot. I would say that in this context, that is a lot more. That would qualify. Now, let me ask you this. Let's just be fair, because since the story has popped up and it's been passed around a little bit, is he just bitter? I mean, is he just a guy who's bitter because he didn't get the team? Is that what you're reading here? Possibly.
Yeah, they overpaid. They spent too much for it.
Well, they spent all this money. They're not even gonna have a season next year.
I'll tell you this: when Kwanza Jones and Jose Feliciano are introduced in San Diego, hopefully next month, Darren, after they're approved, I would love to ask them if they think there's going to be a stoppage. Like, what do you think? Were you a little bit gun shy based on what you think could happen, or do you not think that way? You think of the future, or do you do this bid thinking, hey, you know what? There's going to be a salary cap coming. I don't know.
Again, I mean, this seems to be an opinion of somebody who finished at second, third, who even knows in the process. I also think there's another way of looking at it. I think that people would like to give John Seidler or the Seidler family some credit for picking people who have values that are aligned with San Diego. And I realize this is probably not the most breaking news, Marty, but maybe at the end of the day, this was just about the sale price. Is it possible that what Kwanza Jones and Jose Feliciano represent is both financially and what's the phrase that I just used there? And value alignment. You know, is it possible that it's the best of both worlds? That you got the highest offer from the people who have the values that most represent the Padres in the city of San Diego? Or is it just like, hey, listen, man, they offer the most money. Like, we don't really care. Let's just,
Darren,
3.9 is 3.9. Who cares?
Or do you think it's value alignment with other owners who want that salary cap?
Well, let me ask you this. If Joe Lacob and his group had offered $4 billion and Kwanza Jones and Jose Feliciano offered 3.9.
Oh, nice.
Who are we talking about tonight?
Nice to meet you, Joe Lacob.
Right.
When Steph Curry throwing
I love the Warriors. Yeah, what is Steve Kerr going to throw out the first pitch?
Right. San Diego, why not? Yeah.
Right. He was actually at the Giants Padres game the other day.
Oh, he was?
Yesterday, I think. Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, I mean, again, I realize this is an incredibly cynical thing to say, but it's just the way this world works. If somebody offered 4, I'm guessing the person that offered 4 is probably the bid that's going to say, hey, we won.
Yeah.
So, you know, listen, I don't mean to constantly sound, I know I've been talking ad nauseum about Chelsea and other. I'm open-minded. I really am. I'm really open-minded about it. I do think it's exciting. I have read a little bit about them. About Kwanza Jones and Jose Feliciano, and things do line up for me. You know, I can say, listen, their professional lives, the world of Goldman Sachs and private equity and Clear Lake Capital, I can compartmentalize that with what I've learned about them as human beings, and I can find a middle ground that I think is a place that I feel comfortable as a fan. You know, forget about me as a broadcaster, but like as a fan, I can, you know, you can feel. And you know, these are decisions that people have to make. Listen, I'm a Knicks fan. Our owner's terrible. So, you know, it's just how you have to live with these things sometimes because you don't have a choice in it. But that being said, you know, I think I've learned a little bit about the people, and I've also learned a little bit about the business side of it. That, you know, you go, listen, you know, like this is a clean slate, and Joe Lacob sounds just like a bitter, you know, I mean, I guess somebody actually read into this and said, you know, when he's talking about all the local revenue and stuff, like was he giving you an indication, Marty, that maybe he was going to move the team? I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I read through between those lines, but maybe, you know, I think the Padres hopefully got the right people here, even if it's just strictly about the bottom line.
And I know people that work with, you know, foundations, whatnot. And they said, you know, based on what the digging that we've done, when it comes to philanthropy, these people are legit. Like, they're legit community people. So that'll be cool to see. All right, Darren, listen.
And plus, they also are willing to buy in at a price of 3.9. If this is true, too, what Joe Lacob is saying, that you are buying in with the assumption that there might not be a season in 2027, and they still are buying in at that price. Again, not to naively suggest that they're not doing it because it's going to pay off for them financially somewhere down the road. Right. Because it will. Right. It did for Peter. Like, we understand this. They you know,
$800 million. You think it paid off for Peter?
The guy knew what he was doing.
Yes,
all right. We put him on a pedestal here for everything that he did.
They don't become billionaires for being stupid and making stupid choices.
And he set his family up for the rest of time. Yep. So, you know, I think that was probably part of Peter's overall strategy, especially what we know about Peter, and that he understood his own mortality. But that being said, you know, like, there's a way that you can definitely find a balance here. Peter did it. And I think, you know, at least early on, you could certainly make a very, very plausible and real case that you can see something similar happening with Feliciano and Jones. And you know, hopefully that turns out to be a good thing. But we have to wait. We have to see, and the proof will be in time.
His first love is baseball, right?
Well, I mean, listen, that's what Kevin.
Hey, wait. No. I'm trying to go ahead and connect the dots. I'm doing this for you. First love is
baseball.
I
mean, I don't know how it
Puerto Rico.
Kevin knows that.
Who do we know that loves baseball in Puerto Rico?
Bad Bunny.
Yes. I mean, let's go ahead and get this partnership going, right? Forget Drew Brees, Bad Bunny. That's going to go ahead and excite the people, right?
I know. I mean, this has been an interesting exercise in learning how little people actually know about Puerto Rico. That as soon as people hear about, like, oh, he's Puerto Rican, when is Bad Bunny coming? It's like, is that the only other Puerto Rican that you know?
No, Ricky Martin.
Okay, well,
Love
there
Ricky
you go.
Martin. Love Ricky
or
Martin.
Jose Feliciano, Feliz Navidad. So, you know, listen, it's I've been there many times. It's a great place, but you are learning. I understand not everybody knows a ton, but anyhow, I'm just joking.
I know you have to bounce because you have SDFC to get to, and I need to take. Dude, I locked myself out I had to climb a tree, and I am right now covered. I'm in my gym clothes. I haven't showered yet, and I'm covered with like blood and branches. So
Really?
I am an absolute train wreck disaster. By the time we get to Petco Park today, I'm hopefully I'll clean it up. But I had to climb a tree. God.
How'd that go for you?
It's just not great. It's not great.
Anybody like pass by going, what's that woman doing in a tree? Or is that just normal where you live?
Someone call the police. There's a crazy person climbing a tree, peering in windows.
Cat burglar.
Oh, sheesh. All right. I got to take a shower. But why don't you go ahead and set up the Justin Turner interview, which I saw portions, and it's outstanding, Darren. Looking forward to this.
Well, I've now sat on it for 2 days, so I'm thinking in my mind a million questions that I wish I had asked. But like I said, he did a long interview right before I sat with him. I found him to be a very likable guy. I've said this before. He was not like of all the guys that I disliked on the Dodgers, he was pretty far down my list. That being said, I'm sure we'll get some shit for this because he is one of the all-time great Padre killers. And there's just no other way to say it. Like, he hit more home runs against the Padres than he hit against any other team in his career. And he enjoyed it.
Maybe he'll be here the next homestand because that's when they welcome in the Dodgers. After this, they go on the road, right?
Yeah.
That Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series.
He embraces it too. Yeah. And he's living in San Diego and he's commuting back and forth to TJ. And I appreciate a guy that's at 41 years of age, who's made the money that he's made, who likes playing. He just wants to keep playing. Like, he just loves the game, which is, often I think a lot about what this league is. Is it a means for him to get back into Major League Baseball? I'm not so sure. But, he's they're selling Justin Turner jerseys around Tijuana, which is kind of a trip to see. And to sit there in the dugout and chat with him, he was very nice. He was very accessible. And
awesome.
He tells this amazing story about John Sterling at the end. So stick around for it, even if you don't care about the Padres stuff or the Tijuana Toros stuff. And I do want to thank Juan and David. Thank you very much from the PR team at Tijuana Toros. They would love for people to go down there. If you're looking for something, it takes me like 30 minutes from where I live, Marty, which is different than where you live. And it's different than other parts of the county. And I understand that. But it really is a fun place. You can walk across the border. You could take a taxi there. It's like a $10 taxi ride.
30 minutes from your place? 30 minutes? That's
35 minutes. If I had driven, and then we parked and walked and probably cost us. So we were running a little bit late. So there was a little bit of frantic nature to this. But I mean, they do. Like, if you like, concessions that are a lot more affordable, it's a great alternative. And, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of sensory stuff going on inside of the game, but it's a real league. Like, it's not it's like, teams are competing, and this team has won the championship a couple times. And the team that they were playing for Monterrey is one of the best teams. Roberto Kelly is the manager. Guys are kind of in transition. Are they trying to get back to the big leagues? Randy Arozarena was here just a couple, back in 2016, Marty. Like, this was the stop that he made before he made it into the big leagues. So you can kind of catch people going one direction or the other. And there's a lot of recognizable names, and they do a great job. And people are really proud of the Tijuana Toros. People in Tijuana love, Cholos, Toros. The way I feel about the city. I love the city. So, it was my first time there, and they treated us really, really well.
Awesome.
And if people do want a fun alternative for a night, for a game, whatever, like I said, concession wise, it's a really, really cool experience. It's a gorgeous stadium. It's called Toros Mobile, like Mobile, the gas stadium. And it's like right here in the hills. It's really, really beautiful. Holds about 17,000 people. Cool little area, neighborhood, band afterwards, music, like all sorts of fun stuff happening. So got myself a shirt somewhere around here that I meant to wear for the game, for the show today. But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you to those guys. Like, they were really cool. And there's a lot of really cool stories. Like, if you're John Quintera and you love like local high school baseball athletes, you can find some of these cool stories down there. And, and I did. Like, I enjoyed it. I talked to Randy Wynn, who was the starting pitcher. And he told a really cool story about being in the same draft class as Joe Musgrove. There were like 20 players, Marty, from San Diego that got drafted that year. And they all kind of keep tabs on one another, right? And like, Musgrove represents the high of the highs, the guy that won the World Series, made the $100 million. Other guys kind of had a cup of coffee. Other guys, not so much. So, it's just it's a cool thing. It's not, it's definitely not like the overpowering Padres Jumbotron where, you're like, you're in this tanning bed for 3 hours, but it's cool. Like, and I really enjoyed it and I appreciated the hospitality. So, here you go. Even if you hated Justin Turner, here you go. Former Dodgers third baseman, JT, with his thoughts on playing in Tijuana. He must love the game so much that he's not ready to call it a career. You've won, you've made money, you've done everything. But I did not have this on my bingo card in 2026 that I would be sitting here interviewing Justin Turner in the dugout at Toros. Did you have this on your bingo card that you would even be playing here in 2026?
No, I didn't. I thought I'd get another opportunity in the States, and when that spring training was almost over and I still hadn't got a phone call, it was pretty shocking to me, and there was definitely some thoughts that maybe it was over, but thankfully everything worked out here in Tijuana, and get to put on a uniform. So
I love it, and you must love it as well. Because when I was coming down, people would say, "You got to ask why." What is? I said he must love the game so much that he's not ready to call it a career. You've won, you've made money, you've done everything, but here you are, you're still playing.
Yeah, I love it. I love coming here every day. I love interacting with the guys. I love sitting around the cage and talking about hitting, and my family loves it. My family loves coming to the games. I got a kid that's almost 2 now, and he is hard to imagine a 21-month-old that loves baseball so much, but he just runs around the house all day yelling baseball and wants to hit off the tee all the time, and he loves coming to the games and scream and go, and so that part of it makes it all worth it.
You could have, there's a lot of places to play baseball around the world. How was it that you ended up in Tijuana?
Yeah, I mean, was looking for an opportunity, obviously with Major League Baseball, but when that didn't come, there's other avenues, and this was a great opportunity for us because I'm live in LA still for the most part, and my family can drive down, live in San Diego, and drive across the border every day for watch the game. So it's kind of perfect.
You've been part of a lot of opening days. I was watching the opening night here as well. Tell us what was going through your mind as you're going through this amazing experience here.
I've never seen anything like it. The inauguration started at 5:00. I think first pitch was at 8:50. So full stage on the field, full live band, live music, performances, lights, fireworks. It was pretty wild. I've literally have never seen anything like it, and it was cool to be a part of.
This league, I think, for people that live where we live in San Diego, I mean, we always come across some names. You're like, oh yeah, Franchi Cordero's another one of these names. How much did you know about this league before you got the opportunity to play here, and what have you thought about it just early on so far this season?
Yeah, I'm certainly familiar with it. I know Adrian came down here and played at the end of his career. I played with Brendan Bernardino, who played in this league on this team for a few seasons before he, got back up to the big leagues, and that's a really cool story. He actually is a big part of me being here. But at the end of the day, when the game starts, it's the same game. You're going out there and you're competing and trying to win baseball games, and the atmosphere is tremendous here. I mean, if anyone who hasn't been down here to catch a game, one, it's a lot cheaper, I'll tell you that. And the environment's incredible. You will be very entertained from the time you get here till, if you want to stay till 2 a.m, they have concerts going on, and the party keeps going even when the game's done. So you should come down and check it out.
And by the way, you played for teams that had high expectations. You're not just taking a victory lap in your career. I mean, can you feel the expectation that this club has in terms of wanting to win? I wouldn't ask you to compare it, but I'm sure you didn't just get here and all of a sudden it's like, oh, cool, like we're just happy to have you.
No, you show up and you play to win. It's not a farewell tour or out here for entertainment purposes. We're here to win. We got a great team. We're off to a good start, and it's very competitive, and I want to help be a part of that.
One of your former teammates is currently playing for the Padres in Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
We've seen Padres come down here. George Profar came down here a couple of years ago, amongst many others. Have you reached out? Have you invited anybody, Walker, or any of your former teammates to come check out the vibe one night as a fan?
I haven't invited anyone as a fan to come down, but certainly a lot of guys are aware that I'm down here and have been asking what it's like and how it is. And I mean, if the MLB season's a grind, man, 162 games in 180 days, and you add spring training onto that, I don't think anyone is really wanting to drive across the border to watch baseball on their day off. But I'd certainly encourage them, whenever they were down, if they were bored, to come down and check it out, because it is a fun atmosphere and a great place to watch.
So I'm sure I'll get a little bit of stick from some Padre fans for doing this. You killed the Padres in your career. What was peak Padres Dodgers for you? Like, where was it like just that? It's like absolute zenith.
I think it was craziest in the playoffs when they stopped selling tickets to anyone with an LA zip code. I think that was pretty wild. And obviously, you know, the last 6 years, they've had a lot of success in making the playoffs and fielding good teams and packing out that stadium. It is a great place to go as a visiting player and play. The atmosphere is good. It's loud. It's big. And, you know, talking to my wife, who goes to a lot of games, it's one of her favorite places to go just because, you know, the atmosphere is great and the food, she said, in the stadium is off the charts. So, you know, it's always fun. Any team you play in the division for 9 years, you know, there's going to be history and there's going to be, you know, games and series and playoff series that stand out. But, you know, we always had fun against those guys.
Do you know which opponent you hit the most home runs against?
Team or player?
Team.
Shoot, maybe the Padres.
It was the Padres. That is correct. Did you hate them? Why did you punish them so bad?
Well, I can promise you, I'm trying to drive the ball against everyone. I think, you know, like I said, it's a great place to play. It's a great stadium. It's a great field. You can see the ball well there. It's big, so there's a lot of hits out there. And you know, obviously, like I said, you play to win. And they made a few more mistakes than some other teams, I guess.
Yeah. My last question, because I know you got to get set for the game. John Sterling passed away yesterday, and amongst the many clips that were making the rounds on social media, I don't know if you know where I'm going with this,
I do.
But was one where you fouled a ball off, and you were the player who fouled the ball off that hit John Sterling.
Yeah.
Did you see those video clips? I mean, did you ever talk to him about that? I mean, I just wonder,
I did.
if you saw that when, you know, the news passed that one of the great broadcasters passed away.
Yeah, obviously, was sad to hear of his loss, and he's, you know, an iconic voice, especially in New York. But when that happened, I didn't know it happened in the moment, but after the game, I found out they actually brought the ball down and signed it for him.
Come on.
And sent it to him, yeah. So, and then he sent me a little something. So we had some fun teasing each other about that, but certainly sad to hear of his passing and praying for his family and friends and the Yankee organization and everyone, probably hundreds of thousands of people that, you know, he touched in his career. Pretty special human being. So.
That's great. I'm glad I asked about that. Well, I think you might win over some Padre fans. I don't know if you have a pitch for them, but you want to try to win them over because there's a lot of crossover in this part of the border, just north of it. So if you want to pitch them, now's your chance, and then we'll call it quits.
I don't think there's a pitch. You know, the louder they boo, the more success you've had. And I got booed pretty good every time I stepped in the box down there. So I wore that as a badge of honor.
Thank you for doing this. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, that was Justin Turner with Darren Smith, who as usual does an outstanding job. All right, guys, that is it for today. We thank you for your time. We'll be back later on Friar Territory talking to, of course, Ty France, the Padres backup catcher who had quite a clutch performance on an 0-1 count after a pitch clock violation. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Enjoy Bartolo Colon Day. Thanks for your time. Thanks, Darren Smith. I am Marty Caswell. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
수 없겠지만 운동선수로서 이제 전 치폴레를 되게 좋아해가지고 그래가지고 치폴레 많이 먹고 또 살 안 빠지게 관리 잘해야 될 것 같아요.
Yeah, I heard from Hassan Kim that he lose almost 20 pounds that off season, and I'm preparing to work out or eat more, and I love Chipotle, so it'll help too.
Yeah, I like Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Yeah, very good food.